Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 108. Ford had some big announcement this week, and Jim Cramer called it the Destroy Tesla plan. And we got some examples of production is hard. And GM is backing out of yet another EV startup investment. And Honda and Sony has announced they will form an EV joint venture. And I saw some tech that kind of blew my mind. And I learned about the Chinese Tesla village. And Tesla finally overcame Germans' red tape and got the final permits. Let the fun begin. All this and much more on today's episode. Let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
Let's say it one more time. Prototypes are easy, production is hard. Sawyer tweeted that Tesla has now produced 1,365 Model Ys at the Gigabuild to date. I'm told the build quality is great, also 33% of the builds will be or have been scrapped or partly recycled, with the other 66% likely for employees and internal transportation. So cool to see all these cars coming out of this factory, and that also means this new factory has probably already produced more cars than Rivian has produced so far, or definitely Lucid. So just to show how difficult it is to start production, but also to show how good Tesla has become at it. As I also talked about in my latest video, where I compare Volkswagen's Wickau factory, Volkswagen's state-of-the-art EV factory against Tesla's factories, and how much faster Tesla is able to ramp up. And people also tend to forget all the hell Tesla went through to get to where they are today, and expect every other EV startup just to be able to do the same. But we are really starting to see Elon's quote playing out here right now. Prototypes are easy, production is hard, and getting to profitable high volume production of an EV is almost impossible. We also see Lucid is cutting back on their target of 20,000 units in 2022 to 12,000 units, so a big step backwards for Lucid. But if they're able to produce 12,000 units of their luxury EV this year, I will still call that a pretty good success for Lucid in 2022, because they still have a long way to go to get to that kind of production rate. They have only still produced a couple of hundred cars, and they already want to build a new factory in Saudi Arabia. But as Elon tweeted, Saudi Arabia owns 2/3 of Lucid, so inevitable. And Rivian has produced over 1,000 cars, but they are also finding out just how hard it is what Tesla has done, and Rivian has been forced to raise their prices of their R1T, and it seemed like they would not honor the price for the people that had already pre-ordered, as they got emails about the upgrade, like Adventure Pack and Explorer Packs are now selectable upgrades, and we have seen people on Twitter showing their truck went from $85,000 to over $100,000, an extra $15,000. Ouch. But as Elon also explained on Twitter when asked about the Cybertruck, our primary challenge is affordability. Creating an expensive truck is relatively easy. If it is extremely hard to do for Tesla, despite our much greater economy of scale and better technology, then it's damn near impossible for others. Yep. And there are some polls showing that this might hurt Rivian quite a bit, as maybe over 50% of pre-orders will cancel their orders. And according to Rivian's website, they currently have approximately 71,000 net pre-orders, so if that is going to be cut in half, that could really hurt Rivian. Also when it comes to having enough orders to get to the economy of scale with their pre-orders. So Rivian did also backpedal pretty quickly on this one, probably because many people actually did cancel their pre-orders, and this gave a really bad look for Rivian. So they will now honor the pre-orders, and everyone that had cancelled would now be able to get the same truck as before at the same price. As Rivian CEO RJ said, I have made a lot of mistakes since starting Rivian more than 12 years ago, but this one has been the most painful. As Elon also tweeted about Rivian's trouble here, their negative gross margin will be staggering. And he should know, because people have to remember Tesla went through the exact same thing when they started production of the original Roadster. Here is a clip from when Elon had to tell his reservation holders that Tesla had to raise the price of the car.
To generate cash, Tesla raises prices on people still waiting for their cars. Even the true believers are starting to doubt.
I cannot understate the degree of grief that I've personally gone through and that many of other people at Tesla have gone through to make this work. When I say it was like eating glass, I mean glass sandwich every bloody day, okay? I wish we didn't have to raise prices. It sucks. I can't carry Tesla entirely by myself. It's just, I just don't have the resources to do it. We can't sell cars for less than they cost us to produce. If anything more than that occurred, then it was an accident.
That's why there's a bunch of comments after it that all got.
Okay. There seemed to be a little bit of anger from some people in the room who felt that we'd kind of done a bait and switch. And I mean, that's sort of a little bit true that there was a bit of a bait and switch. I mean, that's kind of what happened. It was very tough.
So it's not like Tesla has not experienced this, but unlike many other EV startups like Chinese Byton or Faraday, Tesla managed to fight their way through hell, even though they got close to bankruptcy a couple of times, but they did get to profit. But a decade later. So Rivian and Lucid still have a long way to go. The easy part is now over, the prototype, and the almost impossible task of getting EVs to high volume productions with profits has begun. And we are seeing them struggle just like Tesla did. So I do think someone like Rivian has a very high valuation, since there is still no guarantee they will even survive this, and could be a very bad investment if they don't. But I wish them the best of luck, because they're gonna need it, and we need more EVs on the road. And speaking of investments, can you guys name me the asset that's been around for 277 years in the portfolios of the world's wealthiest people? It's a tricky question, but I'm talking about fine art. People like the Rockefeller family invested huge parts of their fortune in fine art, eventually selling their collection for $835 million in 2018. Now, modern billionaires still collect art because they know its value as an investment. In fact, contemporary fine arts prices outpaced the S&P 500 by 164% from 1995 to 2021. So why aren't people like you and I investing in this asset? Well, it takes millions of dollars to acquire a good piece, and it's hard market to navigate. Until now, that is, thanks to Masterworks, the sponsor of this video. Masterworks' mission is to make it possible for anyone to invest in a great work of art through breaking each painting into shares registered with the SEC, similar to how you would buy a Tesla stock. Now you can buy fractional shares of pieces by masters like Picasso, Andy Warhol or Banksy. Masterworks uses over 60,000 data points to find financially attractive work of art, buy them, then let you invest in the shares representing an investment in that painting, and the result speaks for themselves. So far they have sold 3 paintings, which each returned 30% to its investors. With a result like that, it's no wonder that over 350,000 people have already signed up with Masterworks. With the uncertainty in the stock market and the inflation we see right now, fine art seems to be a pretty safe bet, especially when we look at the historical data. As always, do your own research when it comes to investing. But if you want to be a part of what Wall Street Journal's called the hottest market on earth, click my custom link in the description and join the Masterworks community today. And we have some big news from Ford that they have announced they will create 2 separate auto businesses, Ford Blue and Ford Model E.
We're announcing one of the largest transformations in the global automotive business. Full stop. We've decided to create 2 separate auto businesses. Ford Blue, that'll focus on our internal combustion engine vehicles like Bronco and F-150, and Ford Model E, which will focus on connected digital vehicles. And it's going to enable Ford to outperform both those legacy automakers who aren't doing this, and the electric vehicle competitors who don't have our assets like body engineering and large-scale manufacturing.
Yes, Ford is not making an EV spin-off, but making two businesses under the same roof. Ford Blue, that will make their ICE cars, and Ford Model E, that will make the electric car. Model E, the name Ford would sue Tesla for if they used that for what then became the Tesla Model 3, but a great move from Ford, making it two business even though it's not a spin-off yet, and they will do this by 2023. And they did raise their EV target to 2 million EVs by 2026, so that is great, even though they didn't really say anything to why this was suddenly possible, nothing about the reason why they could raise their EV target for 2026 to 2 million. So we still have to learn how Ford plans to execute this plan, but also Ford continues to have a target of 3 million EVs by 2030, so their plan is actually to slow down the EV production after 2026. That seems a bit odd, but Ford is really making some good moves, but then they say stupid shit like this.
Ford Blue will build out Ford's vibrant portfolio of internal combustion powered vehicles.
Bronco and Ranger and F-150, Super Duty, Mustang, those vehicles aren't going anywhere.
I want to emphasize that. We are going to invest in internal combustion engines.
Make no mistake, their ICE cars are not going anywhere. They even invest in their ICE cars. What? So much for being all in on EVs. Your ICE business is going out of business if you want it or not. I know they can't go out and say that, and this is probably just a political move, and I just talked about how almost impossible it is for the legacy automakers just to wind down their ICE engine in my last video. So I still think we will see them letting the Ford Blue slowly die off and make the Ford Model E rise instead, but they will never be able to go on and say that to the public, of course, but to hear them say that just made me fear for their survival once again. But we have to wait and see how all of this will play out and what Ford will actually do to execute this plan, because even though Jim Farley said they have an advantage with their large-scale manufacturing, well, that is something that is yet to be seen. So far, their ramp of their electric vehicles has been less than impressive, and we have seen Volkswagen not being able to retool their old factories to match Tesla's new factory speed, and therefore wanting to build whole new factories for their Trinity platforms. So can't see how this large-scale manufacturing of their old-school ICE car is going to help their EV business. So I don't know how having two separate auto business will give them the speed of an EV startup, as they say. Whatever that means. It's not like Rivian or Lucid or Fisker or Neo or Xpeng has just been speeding along. It has taken many, many years to get to where they are today, and some of them have yet to make their first car. So I think Ford is just trying to get some of the high valuation of some of these EV startups and therefore wanted to be compared to them. So I think it's a great move. I just don't think the truth about the move is said, because they can't. But let's see if Ford will actually be able to get to their target of 2 million EVs by 2026. I know Jim Cramer said this is the destroy Tesla plan, but Tesla will be well above 2 million already next year, and Jim will bet on Jim Farley and Ford for 2026 instead of Tesla and Elon Musk. Yeah, that's not gonna age well, Jimmy. I think someone just wants to get Ford's valuation to go up. And congratulations, Tesla, for finally getting the final approval for Gigaberlin. It has been a long and tough fight for Tesla to get the approval for the Berlin factory. No wonder that German politicians want to use this as an example and try to eliminate many steps in the approval process, because this has been insane. But we are finally here. No longer speculation. Tesla will start production at the Berlin plant this month. Tesla plans to fulfill all the last requirements to start production at Gigaberlin in 2 weeks, basically to show they can do what they have said they can do, so could start production on March the 19th, which lines up perfectly with the opening ceremony we have heard about set for March 22nd or March 23rd. The implication of this factory is going to be humongous. If you haven't seen my video about this, you should definitely check that one out, link down below. Hope Germany will get the approval process made much easier so Tesla will continue to build out the rest of the 4 phases of the factory. But it is going to be so exciting to see how the ramp up of this factory will go. And let's get our weekly update about the gigafactories. That means handing it over to Brian from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
So let's take a look in Shanghai, in the northwest corner, where we see steel being laid out. And further down the west side, we see steel has already begun being put up, as we expected last week. In the south, where the big expansion is, there's a lot more walls. In the north central area, there's a new area we're going to look at. A lot of footings going in here. Interesting, we just saw dirt last week, so this is kind of a big deal. And on the far east side, we now see that the superchargers are expanding. Let's head over to Berlin, where we can see the 4680 building is getting a lot more walls. That's good. The blacktop has begun being put down in the employee parking area. And there's a lot more Model Ys on site. Over in the loading and logistics lot, yeah, more pavement there too, looking good. In Texas, the concrete in the south has expanded, of course, and there's asphalt at the edges already striped for parking. There is expansion on the solar panels on the roof, of course, and the expansion in the northeast has gotten a lot more grading and leveling done. The exciting news to me is that the area where we believe the cathode building will be built has been completely cleared of all equipment and supplies. They're going to start building here soon. It's even got a fence around it. So my question for you guys is, when do you think they're going to break ground here?
That is a good question, Brian. By the end of this month? Don't know. What do you think? Leave your comments down below. And thank you so much for the update, Brian. See you next week. And SpaceX Starlink satellites proves again and again to be the one to count on. Not long after, Elon sent some Starlink satellite to Tonga to establish internet communication again after the volcano blew up. Well, after the Vice Prime Minister of Ukraine asked Elon for help to get Starlink internet to Ukraine, Elon was once again to the rescue and sent a whole truck to the Ukraine filled with Starlink dishes. SpaceX did also launch yet another Starlink mission this week, launching 47 Starlink satellites. So that is 97 Starlink satellites SpaceX has launched within a week. Very impressive. And even though Dmitry Rogozin, the head of the Russian space program, tried to throw some shade on SpaceX because of them helping Ukraine, when Russia implements its highest national interest on the territory of Ukraine. That is a nice way of putting it. Elon Musk appears with his Starlink, which was previously declared as purely civilian. But Elon Musk replied, Ukraine's civilian internet was experiencing strange outage. Bad weather perhaps? SpaceX is helping fix it. Good one, Elon. And Dmitry continued to talk about how Russia can no longer supply the United States with the world's best rocket engine. Let them fly on something else, their broomsticks. Maybe they will just stick with the rocket that will put about 80% of all cargo to space this year. I think the US will be just fine with their Falcon 9 broomstick. And Jada, that makes accessories for Teslas, was quick to make the American broomstick with reusable staff. And Elon also added that SpaceX would be updating software to reduce peak power consumption so Starlink can be powered from a car's cigarette lighter. Mobile roaming enabled, so phased array antenna can maintain signal while on a moving vehicle. So cool what they are able to do with the software update to help in a situation like this, where there might not be much electricity working. Well, make it work so it can run on a 12-watt socket in the car. Hope they will make this a standard thing for your SpaceX antenna so you can take that Starlink internet with you anywhere. And he later tweeted about yet another software update they have done. Some Starlink terminals near conflict areas were being jammed for several hours at a time. Our latest software update bypasses the jamming. I'm curious to see what's next. Amazing what they're able to do, but Elon did also give a little warning. Important warning, Starlink is the only non-Russian communication system still working in some parts of the Ukraine, so the probability of being a target is high. Please use with caution. Yeah, Elon and his companies seems to be helping all over the world every time there is a crisis, as Alex tweeted. Elon Musk 24 hours crisis contribution. Number 1, free supercharger in Poland and Slovakia to support humanitarian aid. Number 2, activate Starlink in Ukraine and send terminal to guarantee communication. Number 3, guaranteed International Space Station support via SpaceX if Russia stops maintenance. Yep, not bad at all. That is one man the US should be very proud of, Mr. President. And let's squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show. Yes, it's time for the Tesla shorts. And if you think no one is trying to fight Tesla anymore, well, we have some more corruption right out in the open. Oklahoma has passed a House bill, not final yet, but past the first phase, which will force Tesla to shut down their service center and stop selling cars in the state if it gets final approval. Yeah, the land of the free, right? And that is even as Panasonic will build a US battery plant to supply Tesla with 4680 batteries, creating more jobs to the locals in either Kansas or Oklahoma. So they like the jobs they're creating for the locals, but don't want them to sell their cars in the state. And speaking of creating jobs, Biden was out again talking about how great GM and Ford is and forgetting all about Tesla yet again. But even CNBC is starting to get a bit tired of Biden not wanting to praise Tesla.
The feud between President Joe Biden and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, it does not seem to be cooling anytime soon. In an email to CNBC, Musk said, quote, "Nobody is watching the State of the Union." That note coming after the president failed to mention Tesla during his State of the Union, where he touted the combined $18 billion investment by Ford and GM to build electric vehicles. Musk later tweeting, Tesla's created over 50,000 U.S. jobs building electric vehicles and is investing more than double GM and Ford combined. The lack of mention by Biden leading into Musk's latest comments coming after CNBC reported on the ongoing battle between the billionaire and the commander-in-chief. Of course, unions, the fact that Ford and GM may be unionized or are unionized may play into all of this, but I don't understand why he doesn't just praise them more. I mean, if you're going to talk about growth, I know, but if you're going to talk about growth in this country and the things that are innovative and what's really happening, there genuinely is one guy who's actually doing it. There is. And why you wouldn't just say, this guy's actually doing something pretty fabulous.
It's really telling.
Just to sort of, you know.
In all ways, in job creation, in wealth creation for shareholders. I mean, are we not happy Tesla is an American company?
No, but if you were the president, he should go fix this. He should go fix this. Why shouldn't he?
Now you're speaking some truth to me. You are. No, I do. I like it. I agree with you.
I'm just saying, he should invite him to the White House. He should take whatever ribbon he may get, and he should say, this is the guy who's doing fabulous things for America.
He's crazy, but there's no way to not cherish Elon Musk and what he's done in this country. There's just no way. We're not even talking about space at this point. We're just talking about electric cars.
There you go. Common ground.
And did you see the concept of the Polestar 02 that had a drone that could be deployed in best James Bond fashion? So you would need both a driver license and a drone license to buy this car. Yeah, I don't think there are many places in the world that would be legal, but a nice concept that we will probably never see. And while Ford is making new big plans with their EVs, GM is backing out of yet another one of their investment in EV startup. This time it is Lordstown Motors. So the two EV startup companies GM has invested in are Nikola and Lordstown. Wow, what a great job, Mary. You are leading and it matters. Remind me again how many EVs you have produced this year. To my knowledge, I have not seen any more Hummer EVs coming off the production line. It seems like the one they sold is the prototype of the Hummer, and still no Bolts are being produced as well, and probably not before April. Yeah, GM is leading the way by making no EVs. I mean, come on. And Tesla Silicon Valley Club tweeted, Mars looking more peaceful at the moment. Let's go to Mars ASAP. And Elon replied, a beautiful home for life. Volkswagen got some software updates which gave more range and more charging speed. Skoda says it will be free. Volkswagen haven't said anything on the matter yet, but this will not be an over-the-air update, but you have to come into the dealers to make this update. Yes, I know many are saying, but Volkswagen do make over-the-air update. But as we talked about before, it is only minor things, not when it's something that really matters, and this is yet another showcase of just that. Volkswagen finally comes with a great update, but is not able to make it an over-the-air here in 2022, 10 years after Tesla started making over-the-air software updates. So Volkswagen so far is about 10 years behind Tesla in software, and still not really there yet. And Elon replied to Hallmark's catalog saying Lucid delivered the first 500-mile EV, and Elon replied, "We could have made a 600-mile Model S 12 months ago, but that would have made the product worse in my opinion, as 99.9% of time you'll be carrying unneeded battery mass, which makes acceleration, handling, efficiency worse. Even our 400+ mile range car is more than almost everyone will use." And Elon also took a little drive with the Chinese ambassador to the United States, as he wrote, "Had an inspiring talk with Elon Musk today on cars on the road, stars in the sky, researching of human brain, meaning of life on Earth and our future into space. Look up and think beyond." Nice. Hopefully some of the US politicians will do this with Tesla and Elon Musk as well. And the Chinese ambassador also got to drive the Plaid Model S and try out autopilot and rode powerful model but smooth ride. But even though Elon seems to be everywhere and doing 1,000 things at once, well, he did also find time to go to the local Sombrero Fest to celebrate Charo Days at Brownsville, South Pedro Island, together with little baby X. Thanks Elon for just being such a cool dude. And speaking of Brownsville South Pedro Island Airport will be getting a little gift from SpaceX after last week's tweet about maybe SpaceX could give a Starship prototype to display for the locals. And this week Brownsville South Pedro Island Airport tweeted, "We are ready for it and have a great location to display it at, Starship Road. Where do we sign?" And Elon replied, "Sounds good, we will send one over." Just amazing. And Honda and Sony has announced they will form a new EV joint venture to create a new company together with the goal of selling EVs in 2025. Sony will develop a service platform for mobility and provide it to the new company, and Honda will manufacture the cars. Very interesting. And Mass had made this little chart over the UK car sales in February using stats from New Automotive, and we can see EVs are now 18% market share, not bad. And we could also see that in February the top 5 best-selling cars in the UK was the Vauxhall or Opel Corsa, the Mini Vauxhall Mokka, that is the electric Vauxhall or Opel, and then we have Tesla Model Y and the Tesla Model 3. Look like the Tesla Model Y has been well received in the UK, and Opel or Vauxhall is stepping on the accelerator and want to have an electrified version of each of their models by 2024 and be pure electric in Europe by 2028. Not bad. And Sweden saw a plug-in market share of 51.6%, while Norway showed 86.1% plug-in market share, and BEVs has over 75% market share. Nice. And in Germany, Tesla is the fastest growing car company, and that is before the Gigabillion Stars delivery. Wow. We are about to witness something really special when that factory opens. And everyone is screaming about Tesla having bad build quality. Well, not according to Sandy Monroe, but check this video out from Jamie's garage.
Everybody knows that Tesla has bad build quality, right? But have you ever checked out the build quality of a McLaren? Check this out. This is a 2022 McLaren 720S with only 43 miles. And I pulled the engine cover off, and look at this. This bolt was just sitting here. So I'm gonna put that little guy back in and check the other side. Oh, look at that, it's loose. I know what you're thinking, a couple loose bolts, no big deal, right? Well, let's check over the rest of the car. The washers under these bolts are rusted. Like literally the car got PDI'd at the dealership on a transporter truck and brought right over here. Only has 43 miles. We got a little bit of panel gap here. Yeah, no big deal, but this is the worst part. Check this out. When the door is opened, only on the passenger side, it is literally touching the body, guys. Check this out. It is touching the body. The other side has got like a 1-inch gap or something like that, but the passenger side, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Now, the driver's side door doesn't have that gap, but when you close the door, watch this. It grabs the seal, it like pulls it back. Do you see that? It pulls that seal back.
and Elon Musk invites UAW to hold a union vote at their convenience for Tesla's employees. If you want to learn more about this, I will leave a link down below to a video from Dylan from Electrify that just did a great video and a deep dive into this topic if you are interested. And you might have seen this video Tesla has just put out on their LinkedIn page, a little behind the scene of their software version 11. And you might think that all this software fun with dancing light, video games, outside speakers and so on are just silly things no one cares about. But you'll be wrong. Thanks to these funny little features of the Tesla, a village in China are now using their Teslas to attract customers and entertain tourists and much more. And because they are unique use of their Tesla vehicles, Pangjiga, or however it's called, has been nicknamed the Tesla Village. I will leave a link below if you want to check out the article from Teslarati about it, and a link to the YouTube video about the village. And just some new tech I thought was very cool from Undefined Technologies. A drone that flies with no propellers. Oh yes, we're getting really close to science fiction here. An iron-propelled drone here on Earth. This is still in the early development, but that really has some huge potential if they can get that to work really well. Thank you so much, Daryl, for sharing this video with me. So cool. And before we end off with a bit of fun, I just want to make a quick shout out to my 2 new Patreons, Dean Ferreira, Craig and Geekmund. Thank you so much for all your support. I am doing this all by myself, but you guys are all the producers of this new show. Thank you. And a big and special thanks to Supporter of the Week. And this week's winner is Jack Goldstein. Jack has been a patron of mine for over a year now. Thank you so much for all the support, Jack, and all the nice comments you also leave down below. It all means the world to me. Thank you. I will contact you on Patreon for details. In the meanwhile, go into the merch store, find the t-shirt or mug of your choice. And let's end off with a bit of fun. Ali tweeted, I asked my wife and kids, why should we get a Tesla? Wife, because it's quiet. 15-year-old, because it's cool. 8-year-old, because it's fast. 5-year-old, because it farts. And may I add, because it's safe. That is all we have time for in this news episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you're already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to donation options in the show notes. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out. And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.